You guys are out here still being afraid of the devil?
All of the stats. So thank you for platforming these folks.
Shout out to Zone 2 All Day was doing.
Oh my gosh, yes. So sorry.
No, not at all. I'm not. Let's not forget the white man's contributions here. You know what I'm saying? But also he did have a lot of good facts, and I appreciate him in here. So I just wanted to give that.
I just wanted to say thank you to you all because I always learn a lot, and just love listening to you all chat and roast some folks who don't know what the heck they're talking about.
You deserve it.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you, Alexa.
All right, good night from 1 a.m. in Colorado.
Me too. Me too. Let's dox each other. Wait, no, I'm just kidding. Okay. Bye. Okay. We're just going to do this. Guess what? It's just nerd o'clock. It's just nerd o'clock.
You sir. Hello, sir.
Hi.
How you doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm good. I just want to say thank you.
You're welcome.
I came on last week for my first time, kind of really naive and stupid.
Mm-hmm.
But I've stayed on every day since, and I've listened to your guests, who are absolutely amazing. And all I do is listen. I don't comment. I don't share. I don't talk about it. I just listen. And they're amazing people. And thank you. That's all I have to say.
Sick. I appreciate this new tact. Jenny, I do.
No, it's the truth.
Great. I'm excited. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Oh, what the... We love a good character arc. Okay?
Hi there.
Hi. We love a good character arc on this channel.
What does that mean?
Meaning that people can make mistakes and you can unmake those mistakes.
Very much so. I've gone through that journey where I spent a lot of years making a lot of mistakes, and I've rode the wave and learned some shit.
Uh-huh.
I have a question for you, though. And this is completely off topic from what you guys have been talking about earlier, which, by the way, Covey, I forget the other girl's name.
Isha,
yeah. Those two women blow me out of the water. They are freaking phenomenal. So I just had to say that real quick. But one of the questions that I've always wanted to ask you is specifically about Trump's tax cuts.
Uh-huh.
I hated them. And I'm a left-leaning libertarian. And one of the problems that I have, and I want to get your thoughts on, is permanent tax cuts for corporations. Warren Buffett, I watched a clip of him talking about if the top 800 companies paid the minimum 21%, that individuals would not have to pay taxes at all. Like they would cover the country's entire tax burden. And I want to know what you feel about that.
Tax them 30%. The idea, listen, nothing's as easy as it seems, right? If we tax, there is going to be a necessity where the cost of doing business goes up in America. But it turns out that the quality of life for everybody else will go up. And if it could... Put it like this: if you raise the minimum wage from $15, $20, $23, $30 an hour, which is what it should be to afford a fucking apartment in San Francisco, burgers will go up. But if we're taxing corporations at 20% and goods and services are going up, guess what? We have and we're paying much, much, much less taxes. Guess what? We have a lot more money to buy these more expensive goods. So everything sort of equilibralizes. And guess what else? If our healthcare is subsidized or is single payer and we're paying more in taxes but less in healthcare, we have even more money to go and pump into the economy. Guess what happens if we forgive student loan debt by taxing the rich their fair share? All those people who no longer have who are burdened to pay back government loans, who they're upside down on, put money into the economy by buying shit. It is all of this stuff is very easy when you think about it. If you prioritize people's ability to save money and not be financially destitute, destroyed by one health emergency, suddenly we get our society back the way that we used to have, where we could buy a house after 2 years worth of salary and then save, like in the olden days. And It is people like Warren Buffett have an understanding about this, and yes, it's going to change the way that our money interacts with one another, but it ultimately will fix this sort of issue. Warren Buffett's the only one out there. He's still, problematic, but it's also but he's the only one of them. I mean, Mark Cuban too, but Mark Cuban's flying around on jets. But they have an idea that ultimately you can't eat money. You can't breathe money when the air is black. You need the people buying your goods and using your services to function as a billionaire. And if you no longer have the people that you are relying on because the middle class has eroded in a way that will not enable us to participate in society, and we're just using our food to eat and live, it all collapses. So yeah, agree. Tax these fucking stop. Yeah, it's not going to cause them to flee. It's not like this boogeyman of causing them to flee to Mexico and flee to some will, sure, but the good ones will stay, and we need them to. And then the cost of business. Sorry, this is this fucking domino effect. The capitalist dominoes. Guess what happened when the free market opens here because other people flee to fucking another country? The vacuum of that company leaving feeds innovation. There is this thing that
I mean, I am a very free market, libertarian. However, it's the crony capitalism and the corruption that I'm just over it. I'm so over it. And I am the benefit of, a couple of those systems that you talked about earlier. I received student loan debt forgiveness after I've been out of college for 25 years, and I've been paying and never missed a payment. And $35,000 is what I borrowed. I have paid in. We did the calculations. Every year for the past 25 years, I paid in more than $100,000.
And I
still owed $12,000. I was still 12, and I only borrowed 35. So it just blows my mind. But and we're also a military or retired military now, but we have TRICARE, which is a universal type healthcare system. Now, having said that, when we were active duty, it was terrible. But now being retired and being able to have that healthcare, that insurance, and being able to go and choose our own doctors is wonderful. So there's flaws in the system, but I'm becoming more and more liberal in the sense that I am sick and tired of the citizens of this country paying out the frickin' nose, and the top, Fortune 1000 companies pay a 0% tax rate.
Right.
And these motherfuckers, pardon my language, are just getting richer and richer. Yep. And we are getting poorer.
And we are sailing off into the abyss. Yeah, dude, it sucks. And I got news for you. The free market isn't all that it is cracked up to be. There is a lot of, like, there's a lot of economic theory. I'm not an economist, but, like, ultimately what happens is the free market, as we see today, there's 4 companies that control all of the food in America. There's 3 companies that control all of the power in America. There's 2 companies that control all of the cable in America. And it, like, what happens in free market is big companies buy little companies and get bigger, and buy little companies and get bigger, and the like illusion, the illusion of competition driving this innovation is bullshit, because it's just
okay, let's say, because I'm a big anti Citizens United, like, I think that needs to be done away with.
Yeah.
So let's say that we pulled, Citizens United was no longer a thing, and we pulled the money out of politics, and you couldn't buy off fucking politicians. They couldn't have these big political action committees and stuff like that. Wouldn't that change the landscape of a free market economy to where it is more consumer driven rather than politically driven?
But we did an oopsie daisy, because everybody that is going to make the decision to take that money out of politics benefits from all that money in politics.
No,
and that is a fundamental big oopsie daisy that we did, because we need to end that shit. Dodd-Frank and all that nonsense. It's like, term limits, ranked choice voting, all of these things need to be accomplished before we can start, like, and I for some reason have this sort of like hopeless optimism, but at the same time we're seeing a stock market crash, and it is the result of people not predicting accurately the like AI futures. You know how people, like, you bet on oil futures or pork futures, like what the market is going to be doing, and that affects the stock market. This is a result, and you see like huge like crashes in Nvidia and like chips that aren't. This is all due to like how we aren't ready for like how AI is going to position themselves in our economy, and it is going to be a fucking nightmare that people are not, and like we have to get on top of that so fast, because it's going to eliminate 60% of the workforce, and if we're not prepared for that, our fucking society is going to collapse. And like this is really like we don't want to go to bed thinking about this, and it's very hyperbolic, but like this is the fucking big oopsie daisy boogeyman that we need to figure out, like UBI, and like how a society functions without like free market and capitalism quickly, because that's what this is going to necessitate, is that like now we aren't getting up, going to work, buying flat screen TVs and go to bed. That's going to change in a way that like people are not prepared to take, and like it is, and we are not going to do it in time, I'm fearing. And I just anyway, sorry.
Well, I mean, AI, that conversation, I mean, it's totally out of my wheelhouse. I struggle to understand it, and I'm paying attention, but
me too.
cursory. But don't you think that if we don't have like a free market system, then the opposite of that is government controlled, which just fuels more corruption. And then the, political elite class, they're the ones that are calling the shots and, dictating the economy, and the consumers are left powerless.
You're right. We do need socialism.
I'm not against social programs. I don't know necessarily about socialism.
I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. I think that I don't know the answer to this. So I'm sorry.
You don't know the answer. I mean, I'm not saying that you know the answer. I'm just curious about your thoughts about it, because I've listened to you now for a few weeks,
Yeah.
and you have amazing insight on stuff. And I am, full disclosure, I used to be a Republican. I lived in a very white bubble.
Dana, that's what libertarian means.
Fair.
That's what libertarian means. It means soon to be leftist Democrat. Sometimes.
Well, and that's kind of been my journey, because I was a Republican congressional fundraiser in the early 2000s. The last race I worked on was 2002, and it was disgusting. I don't know if you remember anything about any of the congressional races back then, but it was ugly.
A mess.
And I left the campaign the month before the election because I couldn't take it anymore.
Sure.
I've always been pro-choice, but I grew up in a very Republican area, and I could not speak about that feeling, that viewpoint. I kept my mouth shut. I started leaning more and more libertarian as the years went on, and I started educating myself more and more. And here I am in the last 4 or 5 years, finding myself actually very liberal leaning, especially when it comes to social issues. And I've surrounded myself with amazing, incredible Black women, and my best friend is Persian. My other best friend is Filipino, and learning from them and just sitting back and listening to their experiences and, the conversation y'all were having earlier. But
I think
pay for my granddaughters. They closed.